Hello everyone, Denise here. Today I am doing the projects for March 2023 for flat projects for Paying It Forward Friday. So this project is a washcloth or a dishcloth or a spa cloth, whatever kind of cloth you want to call it. I made this up using a stitch from a stitch dictionary. I think it is gorgeous and I definitely think I'm going to make a blanket out of it. It is just really attractive in this striping yarn. It is Cotton Batik and it is from Premier, and it is great yarn. It is really great yarn. I purchased some of this because it's on sale this week. It is really soft, and I almost think that it is the same yarn as I Love This Cotton by Hobby Lobby. It feels identical. It works identical to it. It has the same yardage. It's just pretty much identical to it. So if you like I Love This yarn, the cotton yarn by Hobby Lobby, you would like Cotton Batik. It is, I think it's $2.50, $2.49, something like that, on sale. It is 180 yards, 165 meters, 3.5 ounces, 100 grams. It is 100% cotton. It stripes, and it also has little speckles or dings of the colors within the other colors, and you can see that in my cloth as well. It is the Oeko-Tex Standard 100. It is a medium 4. It calls for a J hook. I crochet loosely. I used an H hook. So it calls for a 6 mm. I used a 5 mm. But it's up to you, whatever you want to use, whatever works for you. Color is Summer Splash. So I think I picked up 5 of these just because I really liked it. I thought that this color was the most pleasing to my eye, and I didn't like this pattern at all when I first started it. And once I got a few rows in, I fell in love with it. I love this yarn with this pattern. I think it is very attractive and nice. So if you want to make blankets or anything else that is beyond the washcloth size, this pattern is in multiples of 4 plus 1. So you work up your multiples of 4, you add 1, and then you start the pattern, which is a chain 3. So this is very easily adjustable to anything you want to make with this. And like I said, I really want to make a blanket with it. I thoroughly enjoy it. It does have puff stitches. So if you do not enjoy puff stitches and you like the look of this, maybe give them another try, because I know puff stitches do eat a lot of yarn, which can be good and it can be bad. However, the way I will show you to work it makes it much easier to do the puff stitches. So like I said, I'm using an H hook, which is a 5 mm. This hook is actually a hybrid from the Yarnology hooks at Hobby Lobby. They look like this when they're bigger. And I did an entire set plus some of hooks from Clover. The Clover Amour. They're very easily adjusted by taking them out of their sleeve. They just come right off. So I took it out of its sleeve, I slipped it into a Yarnology sleeve because this has way more grip. It is larger as far as gripping. And this is my new favorite set of hooks. I have a set in the living room in my crochet hook holder, and I use them all the time. So if you love Clover Amour and you need a little more grip, pick up a cheap set at Hobby Lobby, the Yarnology hooks, and go from there. It's very easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and start the washcloth. I did a chain of 20, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Get some yarn out here. The chain of 20 is what I will chain, and then I will add 1 extra chain. Scoot you out of the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, plus 1. And now for the beginning row 1, we're going to chain 3, and we're going to put a double crochet in the chain that my thumb is holding. So the 4th chain from your hook, put a double crochet. Now we're going to skip 1 chain and put a puff stitch in the next. So a puff stitch is yarning over, putting your hook into the space, yarn over, pull up a loop. Do that 3 times. Yarn over. I like to put my finger here to make sure that they don't go anywhere. Put your hook in the space, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up. And you should have 7 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yarn over and go through all of them. And then chain 1. Now we're going to skip a chain, skip 1 chain, 2 double crochet in the next. Skip 1 chain and put a puff stitch in the next. So yarn over, go in the space, yarn over, pull up the loop, pull it up a little bit, put your finger there, yarn over, go into the space, yarn over, pull up another loop, yarn over, go into the space, pull up a loop. You have 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 7. Chain 1. Skip a chain, 2 double crochet in the next. We're going to do that all the way across. Once you get across to the end of your row, I will show you how to end that row, but I will keep doing what we're supposed to do. Skip 1, do a puff stitch. Skip 1, 2 double crochet. Skip 1, puff stitch. Skip 1, 2 double crochet. Skip 1, do a puff stitch. Skip 1, in the last chain here, it is 1 double crochet. That is your row 1. Okay, so this is what you look like after row 1. Not much, but we'll keep going. Going to chain 3, turn our work. We are going to put a double crochet in that same space. And now we're going to put a back post raised puff stitch around this puff stitch. And what that means is we're going to put a puff stitch around the puff stitch and back like a post stitch. So we're going to yarn over. We are going to put our hook in like this from the back to the front, over, across. Now I hold it like this. I take my thumb here, I hold right here where I just went in and where I just came out. I hold those 2 spots, yarn over, pull up that loop, yarn over, go in again, yarn over, pull up another loop, yarn over, go in again, pull up a loop. You have 7 loops, yarn over, go through all 7, chain 1. And then you can straighten out again. And once you get the hang of this, it won't be a big deal anymore. But essentially what you're doing is you're making puff stitches, but they're like post. So a raised puff stitch is this is a back post puff stitch. So a back post raised puff stitch, such a mouthful. We're just going to call it a raised puff stitch. So in this next V looking thing here, in between those 2 double crochets there, we're just going to do 2 double crochets. And then we're to another puff stitch. So we are going to do exactly what we just did. We're going to yarn over, we're going to go in from the back across to the front, hold where you went in and came out. See how I'm secluding or singling out the puff stitch here so that I can pay close attention to where I'm going and what I'm doing. So yarn over, pull up, that's 1, yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull up, that's 2, yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull up, that's 3. 7 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through all 7, chain 1. Then you can straighten out again. 2 double crochets in between the next 2 double crochets. And then we're going to do a back post or a back raised puff stitch again. Yarn over. It's 1, 2, 3. 7 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through all 7, chain 1. 2 double crochet in between the next 2 double crochet. I'm going to do a back post puff stitch or a back raised puff stitch. Two double crochet in between the next 2 double crochet. And 1 more back raised puff stitch. And then when you get to the end here, you will see your 2 double crochets. We're going to put 2 double crochets in between those 2, just like we have been doing. Even though it's the end of the row, that's how we're going to end each row. Okay, so chain 3. Row 3 is a little bit different than row 2. Row 3, we're going to do front raised puff stitches instead of back. And I find them easier, but neither are hard once you start doing them a bit. So you have your chain 3 for row 3 here. We're going to put a double crochet in between those first 2 double crochets from last row. And now we're going to do the front raised puff stitch. So yarn over. Now we're going to put our hook like this. From right to left, our hook is behind the puff stitch. Yarn over, pull up your loop. I'm going to do that 3 times. Yarn over, go through, pull up, yarn over, go through, pull up. 7 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 1. 2 double crochets in between the next 2 double crochets. I'm going to do that again. Yarn over, put your hook in from right to left behind our puff. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull up. It is an easier movement to do the front ones. Chain 1, 2 double crochets, another front raised puff stitch, once you get the muscle memory, the actual memory of the pattern and how to work the stitch, it just gets easier and easier. You can hold your stitches just like I'm holding mine right here. It does make it go a bit quicker. One more. Chain 1, and then in between the last 2 double crochet, you put 2 double crochet. Now for the pattern, we're going to repeat row 2 and row 3 for as long as you want. My washcloth here is 6 inches by 6 inches, so it's pretty small, but that's okay because it's going to be for a baby. So you can make yours any size, like I told you, multiples of 4 plus 1. So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to chain 3 and I'm going to repeat row 2. Row 2, we put a double crochet in between the first 2 double crochets. We do a back raised puff stitch in the next puff stitch. Double crochets in between the next 2 double crochets. We just carry on that way until you get to the length of the project that you're working, whether it's a blanket or a scarf or a cloth. And then I will show you how I went around my cloth. I did a single crochet edging around it because I think that is the best kind of edging if you're not going for fancy or I also think for patterns that have a lot going on with them, and I also feel like yarn that has a lot going on with it, sometimes I don't like to edge it in anything other than something simple, but that's just a personal preference. If you have a favorite edging, go ahead and edge it any way you'd like. I typically like to not put edgings on cloths though, but it's totally up to you. I can see some of the cuter edgings, even like a twisted chain would be cute on this. There's tons of edges out there that you could look into. Oops. 2 double crochets in between the last 2 double crochets. Then you would do row 3 again, chain 3, turn your work. You would put a double crochet in between your first 2 double crochets here. And then you would do a front raised puff stitch. And then you just repeat row 2 and row 3 for as long as you like. I will meet up with you in just a little bit. Doesn't take me very many rows to get to the 6-inch mark. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows, and then I started the edging. So I will be back to you in 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 more rows, 5.5 more rows. See you in a minute. Okay, now we have our washcloth done. You may need to pull on it a bit, pull out those puff stitches a bit, and pull it back this way to get it looking like it should look. Still really enjoying the tea that I shared with you on the community page. This is a cup I bought for my husband because we have homing pigeons. So I wanted to show you the back of the cloth because it looks really cool, I think. So technically this is reversible, but it's not identical on both sides, but this is a completely different look. I like it. Okay, so I am done with my cloth. For the edging, what I did was I chained one and I put a single crochet in between the first 2 double crochets, and then I put one in between the puff stitch and the double crochet, in between this puff stitch side and this double crochet, in between the 2 double crochets, in between the 2 stitches here, and I do that all the way across. I did not work at the top at all into the stitches. I worked in between all of the stitches. It just worked out much better than going in stitches. When you get to a corner, I add 3 stitches to the corner. I do this because one will be for this edge, one is for the corner, and one is for this side. That's how I always do it. And then down this edge, what I did was I did 2 single crochets for each double crochet along the edge. And how I did that was this one, I'll put 1 because I did 1. So for this one, I went into the side, but the ones that were closer to the edge here, I just went around them. So 2 to each double crochet. And it's very easy to do. It works out quite well. And if you do the same thing on the other side, you'll have the same amount of stitches. Getting to this corner here, I'm going to do my 2. I'm going to put 1 for the corner and 1 for this side. One for this side. I'm going to go in between these 2 stitches here, and it's going to be the same as the other end, except the stitches look a little different on this end. So just go on each side of all stitches. This is the 2 double crochets, so you want to do 1 in between them. To the corner, I'm going to put 1 for this side, 1 for the corner, 1 for this side. Then another one in the same double crochet there. I'm going to put 2 in each double crochet down the edge. This one I'm going to go around. There's some of those speckles in the yarn. This is definitely a beachy feel yarn, so the name is appropriate. Summer Splash. Getting to the end here. We started out with 1 single crochet. So in this corner, I'm going to put 1 here and then another one and slip stitch into that first one. And I'm going to cut my yarn, and then I am going to weave in my ends. That did not take very long at all. I would say 20 minutes or so, maybe. Even with doing the tutorial, it didn't take me very long. It's a very easy stitch pattern. Like I said, you can definitely create an incredibly beautiful blanket out of this. Like I said, that's the back. It's very pretty. I like it. And that's the front. This yarn is just absolutely gorgeous. I love this yarn. Like I said, color is Summer Splash. So there is a lot left in this skein of yarn. You can get probably 2 to 3 more of this size washcloth out of it, depending on how big you're making your washcloths or dishcloths. You can get several at least out of this. Even if I had made 1 large one, I still could get 1 to 2 more large ones out of this skein of yarn. Very nice yarn. It still is on sale as of March 3rd. So go take a look at Premier's website. I have a link. I will try to remember to put it in my description box that I think it gives you 10% off and it gives me points or whatever. Maybe it's $10 off. I don't remember. It gives me something, it gives you something. So I will try to remember to put that below. I am not like a quote affiliate. It's just a link that you can get when you sign up on their website. If you are sharing it, then it's a win-win for both people. So I enjoyed this immensely. I want to make more. I'm thinking of making a blanket in a Caron cake that I've had for at least, I want to say at least 3 years. It's a really pretty cake, and I've always been looking for that perfect project for it. I think this would be really good. Really good project. Also, any of the sweet rolls would look great in this pattern. As you can tell, the striping is it's lovely. It's very nice. So thank you very much for watching. This is the stitch for the Projects Made Flat for March 2023. Paying It Forward Friday. Next Friday, I will be back with the Stitch in the Round. And it's kind of a long month this month, so I think there's 5 Fridays. So there will be 2 Fridays where I'm probably not doing anything. And then the last Friday will be the giveaway for April. So I might come back to you. Obviously, I have other tutorials going. Just need to finish them. But I recently purchased something. So I'll probably just maybe have an update video somewhere in there, give you an idea of what I've been up to. We're also going to be working with the birds a lot this weekend, so that will take up a lot of time, probably 4+ days just for that. So I will be busy. It just won't always be in video, but I will keep you updated. And go enjoy some projects with this awesome stitch and make yourself a summer splash cloth. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Take care. Until next time.